Hey, it's Webs here, and it's time for my favorite part of Hearthstone, card reveal season. The new Hearthstone set, Fractured in Alterac Valley, was officially revealed today, even though we kind of knew the theme already, given some data mining with the mini set patch. This set, of course, being centered around the Horde versus Alliance, as it makes sense, given the fact that we had one Alliance set and one Horde set so far in this year. We also are seeing the evolution of the characters that we've been following throughout the year into actual hero cards, like many people actually expected, which, depending on how you feel about hero cards, could either be a great thing or a terrible thing. We also are getting a new keyword called exact lethal on an enemy minion, and we also got a new type of spell, which is called objective spells, which are a aura-based effect that lasts a certain amount of turn. This will probably be the equivalent to the mount from the last set or the profession weapons from the last set, as it isn't actually a keyword itself, just a new way to actually have a spell interact with the board. And probably the mechanic that I'm actually looking the most forward to, even though hero cards could be really interesting. And to follow the theme of Horde versus Alliance, we're getting the choice between choosing to join the Horde or Alliance based off of which legendary one you want to get early access to, which is actually kind of an interesting idea for Hearthstone to actually try out for a set, and it definitely does fit the theme. So let's get into the discussion of the cards now, shall we? Alright, the first card that got revealed is Knight Captain. This card uses the new Honorable Kill mechanic to gain +3/+3 whenever you trigger the Honorable Kill, and it has a battle cry that does 3 damage to any target. This can actually trigger the Honorable Kill, but remember that Honorable Kill only triggers on enemy minions, so you don't want to use it on one of your own minions to try to trigger Honorable Kill. Don't make that mistake. Generally speaking, I think this card will actually be alright to actually play. It does have a good stat line if you can trigger the Honorable Kill on the battle cry. However, I don't see it actually triggering the Honorable Kill more than once, since 6 HP minions aren't the most common in the world, but who knows, maybe we'll see a bunch of 6 HP minions, and as it gets bigger and bigger, it'll get harder and harder to trigger the Honorable Kill anyways. But if you can guarantee getting the first Honorable Kill, this is just a better fire elemental, since it'll have 1 more HP and it'll be the same cost. The second card that got revealed is Gnome Private. This card has Honorable Kill, gain +2 attack. It's a 1 cost with 1 attack and 3 HP. I think for aggro decks, this will probably be a fine card to actually include. It should be able to actually trigger the Honorable Kill pretty easily for at least 2 honorable kills if you can somehow improve its survivability, but by itself it has a nice HP pool, so I could actually see this seeing some play. It's just not a card that's really up my alley personally. Alright, time for the first legendary that got revealed, and the Alliance Captain for Alterac Valley in World of Warcraft and in Hearthstone. Vander Stormpike, a 4-cost card that has 4 HP and 4 attack, that has the battle cry that reads, if this costs less than every minion in your deck, reduce their cost by 3. When you see the Horde card, this card is definitely the more meme one between the two. However, I do think this is a cool little build around card that could actually see some type of play if, I don't know, Ramp Druid becomes a thing, given some of the other cards that got revealed, or maybe something else that might pop up. Maybe it'll make some type of control strategy actually be viable, though that does rely on you being able to draw Vander as quick as humanly possible, which in standard format we don't actually have a way to tutor him out of a deck as easily as Wild does. Paladin in Wild literally has Quest for Adventure, which would draw him instantly. However, I don't know how useful that actually is because I don't play Wild really. I do kind of regret choosing the Horde character over this one as my free legendary, just because I could actually make a lot more decks centered around this easily than I think I could actually make for the Horde legendary, which is going to be up next. And we can't talk about Vander Stormpike without talking about his Horde counterpart, Drachtar, the leader of the Frostwolf Orc clan in Alterac Valley, and he serves as the choice for players who choose the Horde as your free legendary. He's a 4-cost card, much like Vander, with 4 attack and 4 HP, again like him, but his battle cry is the reverse of Vander. While Vander supports big minions, Drachtar supports a lot of cheap minions. His battle cry reads, if this costs more than every minion in your deck, summon 2 of them, which is 2 random minions instead of just 2 copies of him. This card is probably insane in some aggro-based decks and will actually see a lot of play, which is honestly why I probably chose him before Vander. However, like I said before, I instantly regretted it because Vander seems more up my alley than this card, though this could help actually push some aggro-based decks that are kind of hurting right now that I've done recently in the past, such as Zoolock or maybe even Murloc Shaman, because overall he is just a great card and actually not that hard to use. He does fit perfectly in Murloc Shaman. You're not running a bunch of 4 costs and you can actually just cut your 4 costs Murlocs in that deck anyways for something else along with him. And with the importance of both Vander and Drachtar, I wonder if there's actually going to be a card printed that actually just searches for either of them out of your deck, just to make it easier to actually get your leaders of the Horde or the Alliance in this Battleground-esque Hearthstone set. Bloodseeker is the first non-neutral card that got revealed today, which is a hunter weapon that costs 2 and has 2 durability and 2 attack with the honorable kill mechanic, gain +1/+1, which means it will scale infinitely in the attack, but its durability will never actually go down if you actually manage to honorable kill every time you use it. Honestly, this weapon is pretty great for hunter as it will help support face hunter, which is the stereotypical hunter deck anyways, and it gives you a weapon that you can make a good decision on either going face with it one turn or just killing an enemy minion and try to get more attacks, so when you do go face you do enough damage. I don't know how much that's actually going to come up with the card, but it's a possibility. It also kind of depends on what archetype of hunter that the hero card Tavish supports, because the hero cards are probably going to be a deciding factor in a lot of the support we're actually seeing. And without seeing the rest of the hunter cards, I can honestly say this card will probably see play no matter what anyways. It is a decent enough weapon, but who knows? The Blackwater Cutlass for Rogue, that's a 1-cost tradable, hasn't seen any play at all and was predicted to be really strong, so you never know with the current meta game. First objective spell for the set has been revealed for Paladin, which is Dunebalder Bridge. It's a 4-cost spell that reads, after you summon a minion, give it +2/+2, and it lasts 3 turns, which the 3-turn limit seems to be a common theme across the objective spells that we've seen revealed so far. Objective spells is actually probably the mechanic that I'm looking most forward to between this and honorable kills. They are cards that you're going to have to learn how to actually play. For example, with this card in particular, if you play it on turn 4, unless you're playing a bunch of 0-cost minions, you're not going to get the additional +2/+2 for 3 turns, but really 2 turns. But if you use it later in the game, this card actually sees a lot more advantage, which between the 2 objective spells that have actually been revealed today, I would honestly say this is probably the one that's going to see the least amount of play out of the 2. I know it's only a sample size of 2, but this card, very limited possibilities for how you can actually use and abuse it. I could see this actually supporting Questline Paladin, probably the best out of any home, but I don't think this would fit in Handbuff Paladin because you already are running way better spells. Sure, you could, in theory, buff more than 1 minion off of this per turn, but unless you have a bunch of cheap minions in your deck, that's not always going to be the case, which is why I'm suggesting Questline Paladin probably being the best home for it. So even though I'm looking forward to this mechanic, I don't think this one's going to actually see much play. Though the other one, on the other hand, probably will. Speaking of the other objective spell, Snowfall Graveyard is a 3-cost rogue spell that triggers your death rattles twice and it lasts 3 turns. This card is a lot better than the Paladin one, as you can actually pre-set up your board for the death rattles to actually trigger. So while I see this having a lot of potential in standard, I don't know with the current targets that Rogue has in the class that it's going to see much play, though I can see it being abused either by Shuffle Rogue with the Ticketmasters or with Infiltrator Lillian or even the Loan Sharks, as you can fill your hand with a bunch of 0-cost coins, which would allow you to actually blow up on your opponent way earlier if you combo this with Sketchy Information, if you're just looking for cheap death rattles to actually copy. But even in late game, if you wanted to use some type of higher cost death rattle, such as the Colossus that summons another Colossus when it dies, this could actually see some play if you know your minions are going to die that turn, or you're going to trade them in, so you can actually get a bunch of big minions. But personally, I honestly think Death Rattle Rogue is probably going to be the archetype that Blizzard supports in this set. I could be completely wrong, since it is one of those archetypes that have been getting 1 or 2 support cards for each individual set that has been coming out within this past year, and it never has really hit this critical mass of being viable yet. So I'm looking forward to what this card can actually do. The next card that got revealed is Siphon Mana, which is a mage spell that reads deal 2 damage, honorable kill, reduce the cost of spells in your hand by 1. This card is kind of frightening. This is honestly probably one of the most playable cards without even seeing the rest of the cards from the set that got revealed today, because it being able to discount any spell card in mage is honestly a very frightening thing, especially because mage has been centered around only using spells for so long that this card just fits perfectly, and its honorable kill requirement isn't the hardest thing to trigger in the world. Sure, it's only 2 damage, but there's still ways you can combo this out with other spells or even just your hero power, and so you can trigger the honorable kill mechanic on the card. Though it is kind of sad that this isn't really the best support for big spell mage, which is what I was kind of hoping they would support, but oh well. So I guess it could be seen in that deck anyways, just because. Alright, time for the most polarizing mechanic in Hearthstone to return: hero cards. Personally, I actually enjoy hero cards because they're cards that usually you can build a deck around, and that means there's at least 10 separate decks that I can actually try out. Shouldn't actually be that big of a shock that the characters we've been following throughout the year are turning into hero cards, since that was the logical next step, since the first step was a legendary, which was the original chase type of card in Hearthstone. Then we followed them through a quest line, which gave a upgraded version, which is the evolution of the second type of chase card in Hearthstone, aka quests. And now we're revisiting hero cards. The first of which is Wildheart Gup. He's a 5-cost hero card that gives 5 armor, of course, that reads Battle Cry, set your maximum mana to 20. Gain a mana crystal, draw a card. And his hero power is choose one, draw a card, or gain 1 mana. This card is definitely insane on paper. However, I don't know how useful it's going to be besides in random combo decks where Celestial Alignment kind of fulfills this role anyways. Since you're not actually getting 20 mana whenever you play the card, you actually have to ramp all the way up to 20 mana. The card could honestly just see play in some type of ramp druid where you need more mana gain quicker, or even more draw power once you actually max out on your mana, since the hero power either gives you a mana or a card from your deck. Either way, I'm going to have a lot of fun actually playtesting this card out, and I hope to see actually get some support and not be a standalone card. But given the fact that the hero cards are basically the key cards of the set, I doubt they're not going to give any support to one of them in particular, especially the one that got revealed first. All right, the final card that got revealed today is Lightforged Cariel, which is a 7-cost hero card that reads Battlecry, deal 2 damage to all enemies, which is a consecration, and then you equipped a 2/5 immovable object weapon, which is a weapon that doesn't lose durability, and it makes your hero take half damage. The second part of this is actually really insane thinking about it, as it should allow more control strategy for Paladin to actually maybe prop up. Who knows though? The hero power is Blessing of Queens. That is a 2-cost hero power that gives a random minion in your hand +4/+4, which actively supports one of the ongoing themes of Paladin, aka hand buff, which is honestly not that big of a shock. Paladin falls under one of 3 categories in the current standard format for Hearthstone, either secret, liberum, or hand buff. There's not actually that much room in between for anything else, which is kind of depressing because there is a bunch of holy spell support that just doesn't really have that big of a payoff. But who knows, maybe the other legendary will support that for Paladin. Overall, I could see this card actually seeing some play in some type of control Paladin, as it is a strong enough card for a 7-cost card to actually see some play. The ability to just half all your damage that you take is honestly insane, and I'm shocked that they actually wanted to print a card like that. Who knows how they're going to actually support it though, but it just depends on how fast the metagame is and how prevalent the questline rewards still are. Hopefully they'll print something to actually counteract those, but who knows. It's kind of hard to print a card that would hurt every single quest line to slow down the metagame without just destroying quest lines as a whole. All right, that's all the cards for now. And for this reveal season, I'm probably honestly going to put out one video a day for the reveals that were made throughout the day. Any cards that were revealed after I upload the video, we'll just have to wait till the next day. And you're not going to miss out on any videos that I normally have planned for the week. I already ahead of schedule for that, so we should be able to get both the mercenaries and the deck profile out for tomorrow, which is actually already uploaded. It's just privated until I decide to release it tomorrow morning. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye bye.